Do they come with being part of the Houston client?
I think yes. We had quite an exacting father. He liked when we put our best foot forward, and we try to do that, right, Danny?
Yes.
Most of the time.
I mean, he's such a giant of a filmmaker that to measure oneself up against him is quite difficult. One seems to be having to crane one's neck and look up high, but in a sense, he was very supportive to us as filmmakers, and I found a little place underneath this giant that protected me from the harsh rays of the sun, and it was a gentle feeling and one of encouragement.
Did you talk to your father about his films very often, or did he talk about them, or was it that something that wasn't talked about much in the family?
Well, something that brings me to Treasure of the Sierra Madre was an experience I had at the Cannes Film Festival when he was showing Under the Volcano. And the producer, Michael Fitzgerald, and I stayed up all night waiting for the reviews. And the following morning, Michael Fitzgerald was translating the reviews from French to English. And my father didn't seem to be listening. He sort of had a faraway stare. And Michael said, "John, are you listening?" And he said, "It reminds me of when I stayed up all night to read reviews for a play that my father put on, which he wanted to do his entire career, which was Othello. And he reached a point, Walter Houston reached a point in his career where he could put this play on in New York. And Othello was applauded at the end. And but my father had a sort of nagging feeling that maybe it hadn't gone as well as he'd imagined. And the following morning, my father stayed up all night, and the following morning he read the reviews, and they were terrible, absolutely awful. And he thought, "Oh dear Lord, what am I going to do?" So he went to my grandfather's place and rang the doorbell, and he could hear laughter. I thought, "Jesus, this is going to be more difficult than I expected." And the door opened, and the reviews were all on the floor. And my grandfather was a few tears streaming down his cheek, but laughing, and laughing with a certain amount of glee. And that's the laughter that they called upon for the end of Treasure of the Sierra Madre, when the gold is blown back into the hills.